Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Justice C. Prasad urges citizens to use their cell phones to record police officers. A completely different message than what is being conveyed by the United National Congress government, Commissioner of Police, and Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander. Now, of course, they didn't actually say not to record police, but at the end of the day, they are basically condemning individuals for releasing footage that has been recorded by whether it is by CCTV cameras or phones or whatsoever. I want to even make a law. To prevent people from posting it online. Individuals like Ian Allen. Are they serious? Are they for real? I'm telling you. How much longer will we continue to just support individuals based on political affiliation? Hold the government accountable, people outside here. And I'm telling you, a lot of UNC supporters on the ground do not speak the same way like those activists online that are giving the Prime Minister the impression that yellow is still the code. But getting back to the news report, a High Court judge has said all interactions between citizens and police should be recorded, whether by body-worn cameras, CCTV footage, or mobile phones. Justice Frank C. Prasad made a comment in a ruling in favor of Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force Corporal Elton King in a claim against Police Constable Marvin Burke. The court awarded King $100,000 in total, $75,000 in aggravated damages, and $25,000 in exemplary damages. In his ruling on Monday, Justice C. Prasad accepted King's version of events and found that he did not drive dangerously. Instead, the judge said King took evasive action that caused him to slow down even though the traffic light was green. We all know the vast majority of times, members of the TTPS copy and paste basically the same types of reports over and over again, and they expect individuals outside here to believe them. Whether it is pertaining to a confrontation with criminals, where a criminal ended up dying, right? A person ended up dying. They will say that the individual aimed at them and therefore fearing for their lives, they returned fire. In some cases, that is true. But in many other cases, when you do look at the video footage, it is very clear, even if the individual was wanted, in some cases it isn't. Like Joshua Samaru does not have a criminal record. What was the reason for him fleeing? We don't know. There are some types of scenarios or statements being made online that I will not say because I don't have any sort of evidence. There's no evidence to prove it. But it could be a personal issue. That's all I would say. It could be something that was personal. But at the end of the day, people, we know for a fact when we see the video footage, a lot of the times it contradicts the reports given by the police officers in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And this is why this judge is 100% correct in saying, record these officers when they have confronted you for whatever reason, when they've approached you for whatever reason, record them so that you will have evidence to back up your side of the story, your claim. You know the sad thing about it? Up to 1 year ago, not all, but a lot of UNC supporters would have agreed with what I'm saying, you know. There were many others that just used to blindly support the TTPS no matter what. They actually do believe that the TTPS can act above the law, which is not true. They are supposed to abide by the laws of Trinidad and Tobago just like the rest of us. And a matter of fact, I've said this umpteen times. Trinidad and Tobago police officers are supposed to abide by the laws even more than us. You know why? Because they are supposed to be setting the example for the rest of citizens. But instead, do you know what we end up seeing? They park illegally and then charge us for doing the same thing. And the reason for parking illegal is not because of an emergency, you know. Whether using the state-owned vehicles or their private vehicles, they park illegally in order to be able to go and use the ATM, in order to be able to purchase food, even to visit bars, people. I have seen it many times in Sangre Grande. There are individuals who use their either the unmarked vehicles or private vehicles, and they will watch you boldly and smile and all, and sometimes be angry with you if you tell them, but why are you breaking the law when you are the same ones that are enforcing it? I'm telling you, we are living in a world that is full of hypocrisy, people. And right here in Trinidad and Tobago, at this point in time, even the United National Congress is governing in likewise manner. Director of the Police Complaints Authority, PCA, David West, says there are currently 170 open investigations into police-involved shootings. That is why, people, we need the body cams. Because in some cases, definitely, the accounts being given by the police officers will be genuine. But as I said in my initial contribution here on this news report, many times it's incorrect as well. Speaking on Talk City 91.1 FM's The Flagship program on Monday, Mr. West assured that the authority will continue to independently and thoroughly investigate police-involved shootings. That is wonderful, you know. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of times, even when they find something, a crime has been committed, a lot of the times, these police officers are never really prosecuted. And even if they are prosecuted, they end up being, the cases end up being thrown out. Because why? A lot of the times, the prosecutors don't show up. Why you think? Because the prosecutors a lot of the times are police officers themselves, people. But anyhow, so my response online, both Commissioner of Police, Alistair Guevara, and Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, have betrayed and disrespected the population with their recent statements. Both should do the right thing by resigning from their respective positions. Just a year ago, UNC supporters would have agreed with me when I say TNT is not a police state. Now all they tell you is to abide by the laws, while they fail to tell the police officers to do the same. In some good news, and that's what I always continue to say, I will give credit when credit is due. Cleanup works are advancing in Marabella with teams from the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, San Fernando, Marabella District of its Drainage Division, working along Bailey Avenue to clear vegetation and clear the watercourse of a key drain. Approximately 600 square meters of waterway are being cleared, with about 50% of the work already completed. That is good. That is really good, because it was being neglected by the PNM for the past 5 years, 10 years by extension, but really especially for the past 2 or 3 years or so. The condition of our country was in a deplorable state. The infrastructure and everything like that. Everything was being neglected. These efforts help keep water flowing freely and reduce the risk of flooding for nearby communities. This work forms part of the ministry's wider nationwide cleanup initiative. I'm not seeing this in San Grande yet, though. And maintain road and drainage infrastructure, manage vegetation, and beautify major highways and overpasses. Yeah, but you need to think about the communities as well, people. You need to think about the communities as well, the villages and so forth. And that's where CPEP used to come in very handy, and URP. So this program that you have, you need to expand it and put it into the communities. Powered by the contributions of more than 1,800 workers employed following the October 2025 National Recruitment Drive, these efforts are helping to create clean, well-maintained public spaces that foster order and inspire national pride. Give credit when credit is due. This is wonderful. But as I said many times before, 1,800 workers, maintenance workers is insufficient. You need to about triple that. We need at least about 6,000 maintenance workers throughout Trinidad and Tobago, especially if you're going to maintain the areas in the communities, as I said. A senior Cuban diplomat told Associated Press on Monday that his government has not had any dialogue with the United States, but is open to one if certain criteria are met, as tensions remain high between the countries. What's the criteria? That the communist regime remains in office? Deputy Foreign Minister Carlos Fernandez de Cosio spoke days after U.S. President Donald Trump said his administration is starting to talk with Cuban leaders after he threatened tariffs on any country providing oil to the island. And this is the thing about Trump. And this is what always gets me about Trump. He takes action to an extent, and then he stops. And then all he does after that is talk, and negotiate. And the years go by, and just now, because time flies quickly, even though I don't want it to, we will reach 2028, and Trump will be out of office. And a lot of individuals will say, you know what, we're going back to the Democrats, which will be the biggest mistake, of course. Paperless healthcare in Guyana. Faster access, better patient experience. With introduction of a paperless electronic health record system, patients will no longer need physical cards as the information can be accessed in seconds, allowing them to move directly to the doctor. Sounds good as something that we still have an issue with here in Trinidad. It takes really long to end up seeing a doctor in a hospital or even in a health center. The minister shared while highlighting the benefits of electronic health record system. As much as that sounds really wonderful, advancing in technology and so forth to make it more efficient, it just reminds me of the times that we are living in. We are in the end times, people. Everything just now will be computerized. It has already reached there. And then we know what will be happening during that 7-year period. Government Senator Rose Bennett Cooper in Jamaica has called for the administration to roll out a comprehensive public education exercise to inform Jamaicans with old, non-custodial convictions on how to have their criminal records expunged. Sounds like a great idea. She made the call yesterday during a debate on the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Bill in the Upper House. The bill was passed without amendment. That will probably assist a lot of individuals in being able to get their visas granted to visit places like America and Canada and so forth. International news now. Senator Lindsey Graham is doing the right thing, putting Trump in his place, even though he does support Trump to a great extent. I do as well. He said, President Trump, you said help is on the way. It has to be real and really soon. Not just words, President Trump. I am adding that. He said, do it, Mr. President. The Iranian people are beseeching you. You can't talk like Reagan and then act like Obama. There's no deal to be made here. And I have said that for a very long time. You do not negotiate with terrorists. And that's the problem with Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants to negotiate with Syria. He wants to negotiate with Qatar. He wants to negotiate with Iran, with the Ayatollah. Now, the Iranian people want that regime to be removed. And Donald Trump just continues seeking peace. Peace, yes. But you used to say peace through strength. But you're just talking. Now you're just peace through talks, Donald Trump. So, well said, Senator Lindsey Graham. And once again, even Amir Safati, who really loves Trump a whole lot, even came out recently and said, you encouraged the individuals to protest in Iran. They really did believe that help was on the way, on the way. And then thousands ended up dying because you did not keep your promise. Conservative populist Laura Fernandez won Costa Rica's presidency, promising to continue the aggressive reorienting of the Central American nation's politics started by her political sponsor, outgoing President Rodrigo Chavez. Preliminary and partial results showed the Costa Rican president's hand-picked successor captured the win with a resounding first-round victory, eliminating the need for a runoff. That's how significant it was in a crowded field after Sunday's election. And one thing, let me be very clear about it. Even though I have a lot of issues with the conservative side of governance these days, I will always choose the conservative side over the leftists. The Israeli Defense Force struck and eliminated the terrorist Ali Dawood Amik, who served as a head of division in Hezbollah's engineering department. He was involved in attempts to rehabilitate Hezbollah's terror infrastructure in the Al-Dwayr area in southern Lebanon, an advanced terror attack against IDF troops. These actions constituted, of course, a violation of the ceasefire understandings between Israel and Lebanon. And of course, Israel hasn't decided to wage any official war against Lebanon because of these violations, but they are taking appropriate action. Closing off now with the interesting facts segment. Bali has officially banned elephant rides, marking a strong move toward animal welfare and ethical tourism. The decision comes after growing global concern that riding activities cause elephants physical pain, spinal injuries, stress, and long-term health problems. They're not horses, so probably God did not create them in that way for people to ride them. Elephants are not naturally built to carry heavy loads on their backs, especially for extended periods. Under the new policy, tourism operators are encouraged to transition toward observation-only experiences, rescue centers, and sanctuaries that focus on rehabilitation, conservation, and education rather than entertainment. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.